Lightning take care of business before the Stadium Series. We'll talk about the two heroes who helped the Bolts beat the Jets on today's Locked on Lightning.
You're Locked on Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked on Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to begin with a shout out to our everydayers, those of you who tune into every single show, every single day. We love you, we appreciate you, and we love the support that you give us week in, week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the Hector Barbosa to my Captain Jack Sparrow, Greg Steven. Greg, happy Stadium Series weekend, my friend.
Yeah, happy Stadium Series weekend. Happy Friday. And, you know, Nick, the Tampa Bay Lightning are really good.
Yeah. So this was their last game in January. 11-1-1 this month.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Which, if you're like my fiance and 1111 is your angel number, it's good sign for the Lightning right now.
Yeah.
There's cosmic energy on their side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a special number, and we're rolling, baby. Yeah. We're rolling right now.
We're rolling right now. And look, last night, another good example. Bolts beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-1. We will talk about the recap of that one and some of the heroes that stepped up for the Lightning, including one a little bit unexpected. We'll dive into that. Plus, big return last night. Ryan McDonagh gets back on the ice, and John Cooper wasted no time with him. McDonagh, big minutes already. We'll dive into that. And it's here. Stadium Series going on tomorrow at Raymond James Stadium. We'll have a full preview of that game. A lot to get to on today's show. Before we kick it off, I do want to mention today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's your last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. All right, Greg, let's get into the Bolts win over the Winnipeg Jets, a 4-1 game that a little bit of a sloppy start for the Tampa Bay Lightning. It looked like it was a little bit open, looked like maybe they were, sort of a little bit sloppy. Defense gave up some good chances early, but the more the game went on, the more I felt the Lightning really settled in and, kind of started to dominate this game.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. I mean, their shots just kept increasing as well. And, my biggest takeaway from this game, I think, is that we hit some stuff yesterday, because you called the Darren Raddysh goal.
Yeah.
And I had said, wow, I think they just need to take a ton of shots and it's going to, they're going to go in. And man, I felt like Nostradamus.
Well, you know what else? I hit the under.
I know you did. Yeah.
I hit the under. I was so proud of it. It's got to be like my first one of the year. All right, so let's get to the recap for those of you who weren't able to see last night's game. Like I said, first period really felt open. Winnipeg Jets had some great chances, including a breakaway that Vasilevskiy stopped. First period, though, towards the end, Dominic James finds himself on a little bit of a partial breakaway, snaps one to make it 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then second period, I called this, Greg. I called this yesterday. Yanni Gourde feeds Darren Raddysh, who just ups and slaps it, and we get a 2-0 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like I said, Greg, that Darren Raddysh shot, that's cooking.
It is, man. And we were talking about how it comes from Kuch most of the time, and it didn't matter this time. It just came from Yanni, and he's still cranking it, man. It's going right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle Connor gets one back for the Winnipeg Jets, but then later in the second period, Greg, this is the, I think, epitome of like the Tampa Bay Lightning offense. Every single player on the ice touches the puck here. It looks like just a game of tic-tac-toe. It's like a passing drill. And then Nikita Kucherov with a great fake shot winds up being a slap pass into the middle of the slot, and Yanni Gourde just tips it home for his 7th goal of the year. This was beautiful, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely magical. I mean, this is just a classic Kucherov.
Yeah, and it's beautiful from him. And speaking of classic Kucherov, he's the one that gets the empty netter with just about a minute left in the game, finds himself all alone. Don't leave Nikita Kucherov all alone when there's an empty net. Winds up putting it in 4-1, and that wound up being the final score, 4-1 Lightning.
The under.
All right, Greg. So let's talk about our plus minus from this game.
Yes.
What did you like? What's your plus?
Man, I don't know if the plus can go anywhere but Yanni Gourde in this game. I mean, whew, Yanni is cooking. He's been my favorite Bolt for so long, and then they traded him, and I was so sad. And now he's back, and he just looks just as good as he did 10 years ago, man. He's just so good. What a great game from Yanni. I mean, that pass he had to Darren Raddysh, awesome. I don't know, man. I can't. I think this entire game just has Yanni marked all over it.
Yeah, and the forechecking was there. 3 points in this one, so the scoring was there. This line, I thought, did an amazing job of really closing down as the game went on.
Yeah, I mean, Girgensons had 2 points too.
Yeah, Zemgus Girgensons known scorer all of a sudden.
Known scorer.
Yeah, him on that line has been a godsend. You know, you said you don't know if you could give anybody a plus other than, Yanni Gourde. Why not Darren Raddysh, man?
I mean, you know what? You're right.
1 goal, 2 assists in this game. Also played the most ice time, almost 24 minutes. God, every time I see Darren Raddysh, he impresses me more and more. Him and Moser on that line have just been a godsend on that first pair. And we saw him on display last night. Just good distribution, good puck movement. And I thought he made a couple of good defensive plays at the end of the game as well. Darren Raddysh is cooking, man. I got to give a plus to him.
It's like he's one of those guys where I think to myself, it's coming. Like the slowdown is coming, and he just goes out there and puts up 3 more points, and I'm like, all right, I guess he's the real deal. I guess this is who he is, and I don't know where it came from, but I am grateful. That's all I have to say.
This is just Darren Raddysh now. I guess.
This is just who he is.
Yeah, and it couldn't be more awesome because God, the Lightning haven't needed that this year. All right, Greg,
let me throw in one more tiny positive.
Okay.
Man, Dominic James, he's just so good. And he gets these 1-on-0s, it seems, every so often. And he scores, like, every time, man. His shot is so fast. He puts it in the perfect spot. And I just thought that first goal was, like, huge for this team. And Dominic James, man, I love him. I think he's great. I'm so happy he's on this team, and I'm glad he found a role.
Yeah, 12 points this year for Dominic James. That was his 5th goal. A guy who doesn't score a lot, but I'm with you, Greg. Like, he's got a good shot, and I think, I think really good instincts too. When he saw that Darren Raddysh had a little bit of a lane, positioned himself in a spot where he could kind of, get the angle and then use his speed to really open it up. I think any play from Dominic James on that play, just in terms of positioning before the shot even occurred. All right, let's get to the minuses, Greg. Is there something about this game you did not like?
I just thought there were too many giveaways. A little sloppier in this one than normal. Obviously, it didn't matter in the end, but I think this was just like a bit of a couple blind passes game. Few blind passes, a couple bad neutral zone passes. Just not awful, but I would say not the cleanest game for them as far as puck management.
Yeah, I'm with you there. A little bit sloppy, especially that first period. I will say that I love the way they seemed to clean things up as the game went on and be a little bit more stronger in possession, a little bit more laissez-faire. But it was a little bit, I think, of a rough start for the Tampa Bay Lightning in this game. Greg, I'm going to give a minus to my blood pressure in the first period when Nikita Kucherov went down with that injury after taking the hit from Logan Stanley, went off, skidded up under his own power, went down the tunnel, and I think you and I both went, crap.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
That was, I had the biggest scare. I was ready to just throw my remote at the TV. and just say, okay, this is officially the Lightning luck this year.
Yep.
What didn't look like a good hit, looked like Nikita Kucherov was in a lot of plane, but came back in the second period. I think we all exhaled after that, and 2 points for Nikita Kucherov after his return. So
didn't slow him down.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man, I was with you because I was just thinking, all right, here we go again. Fantastic. This is the story of the season. But alas, he comes back strong as usual. Cooch, man, what a unit. And then he makes the great passing play too.
It's off the great passing play.
Right. Yeah. So unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the Nikita Kucherov experience. He'll scare you and then come back. But God, it would have been the Lightning's luck that just right ahead of the Stadium Series, all of a sudden, here's the guy that is on an ungodly pace right now.
Yep.
That winds up getting hurt. Okay, but exhale, because it seems like Nikita Kucherov is fine. It seems like he is going to be good for the Stadium Series. And you know who else was back? Ryan McDonagh in last night's game. We'll talk about his return. And if you're surprised that John Cooper used him in some big minutes this early into his return. And don't go anywhere, folks, because Stadium Series preview is coming up here on today's Locked On Lightning. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. We have the final game of the season coming up, one last kickoff, and the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the Patriots, riding with the Seahawks, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game everybody's been waiting for, where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. You can bet on pretty much everything, from how many yards Drake May is going to throw through the air, how many yards Kenneth Walker is going to have on the ground. If there's going to be turnover, you can bet on defenses, first scores, everything to make a little extra money on the big game this year. And hey, if you're a new customer, here's a cool offer for you. You can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started, or download the FanDuel app straight to your phone so you can play anywhere you go. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We are back on Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan alongside Greg Stephen. Greg, let's throw in another bonus plus from our plus minus. Ryan McDonagh back. He's
back, baby.
He's back. Mack Truck is now parked in the place where Mack trucks get parked.
Yeah. Somewhere in Thunder Alley.
Somewhere in Thunder Alley. And you know what? Ryan McDonagh did not half-ass his return. Almost 21 minutes of ice time in this one, including 3 block shots. Greg, are you surprised or a little bit concerned that John Cooper just threw him back into his go out there and put your body in front of a 100-mile-per-hour piece of vulcanized rubber this soon into his return?
I was a little shocked that he played the full 20 minutes. 3 block shots is the most on the team as well for this game, and he took 3 shots on goal too. I was a little shocked, but also not really, because look, he's a veteran. He knows his body, I think, at this point. I think he knows exactly what to do at all times, and John Cooper knows that. And I think John Cooper also trusts him enough to know that if he knew he couldn't go or shouldn't go, he wouldn't go, and he's going. So put him out there, get him out there, and I think he did that perfectly. And look, his plus minus was 0. He played strong defense, as we come to expect from Ryan McDonagh. And yeah, I think, I was shocked a little, but also I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? He's that guy.
Yeah. And he's not going to want to come in and just be limited either. He's going to want to go full on.
Yeah. And I think the Lightning need him too, is the other thing. So
Yeah. And especially, we talked about this yesterday with Dastu out. You need somebody to kind of step into that second pair right away and be sort of the guy that does the physical business. And Ryan McDonagh is certainly that, such a heady player. And I think having him on there actually does add a little bit of dimension to that second pair, because, Dastu was absolutely killing it out there. Eric Chernak's absolutely killing it. But, we do know from past experience, Ryan McDonagh does have a little bit of an offensive jump, good puck distribution. And now all of a sudden you have, I think, somebody, let's assume Victor Hedman comes back and is on the third pair like we kind of thought he would. All of a sudden you have somebody on all three defensive lines who not only solid defensemen, but people who can really go out and make offensive plays happen as well. That's where I think the danger of the offensive depth comes into the Lightning here.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, just having an offensive guy on each of the pairs is insane. And then to know that they're all veterans and that they're all just also defensively amazing, and that all their partners are each defensively amazing.
Yeah.
Just a dangerous defense, dude. Like, it's crazy how fast the Lightning went from having such like a mid to like okay defense to having just this season. It's just unbelievable. And it's hard to even imagine how great this improvement has been in the course of, honestly, less than a year. But here we are, because Raddysh he transformed, man. Whatever, I don't know what he drank or ate, but keep eating it, bro.
Or got coached, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It could go back to the coaching conversation we had. It could very well be that. So I don't know, but man, keep it up, because I think the pairs, like you said, are awesome right now. And when you get Hedman back, I think you probably get rid of Carlisle for a little while. And great stack, man. 6, love it.
Yeah, I will gladly take it for right now. Okay, Greg, any other thoughts on this game or sort of the Lightning streak in general before we move on to talk about the outdoor game?
I think I want to give you a little bit of kudos for, talking about how physical the Jets were. I think we saw that absolutely yesterday. 29 hits against the Lightning. Definitely important. And then 0 for 1 on the power play for us, which not the end of the world, but no power play goals yesterday. But yeah, no, I think that's about all there is to say about this game. Just another beautiful Lightning win, man. Another domination.
Yeah, and like I said, 11-1-1 in the month of January. They're rolling right now, Greg, and I think I'm looking at that big Olympic break ahead, and I'm just thinking to myself, God, I hope they find a way to keep that momentum through that Olympic break. I hope they don't come out slow. I hope, the extended time off or, extra minutes for guys like Cirelli and Hagel and, Hedman, if he is going to play for Sweden. I hope that doesn't derail just everything that the Lightning have had over this past
year. I have the same concern. Sometimes taking the break is not the best for you, but you know what? We'll just stay positive. And what's even better? What's kind of nice right now about the Olympic break is that we know that Kuch, he can't get hurt. He's just going to be hanging out.
That is true. Okay, well, hang on. There's a week left of hockey before we get to the Winter Olympic break. So let's not say Kucherov can't get hurt.
Like a little jinx, yeah.
Yeah, let's not throw that in the universe. All right, Greg, let's talk about the outdoor game coming up. We're gonna have a full preview from a game perspective in just a second. But before we get a break, I just kind of want to talk about the atmosphere of it. And look, we have family that just went down to Tampa for Gasparilla, and they're sending back, awesome pictures. And there's not only, people walking around in pirate gear and everything like that. There's people walking around in Lightning jerseys. And it has become, I think, just a big part of what is already an awesome week for, Tampa, St. Pete, and the surrounding area. I'm so happy that Lightning fans finally get to experience something like this. And every time I see the rink, every time I see, pictures of it coming together, it just looks like it's going to be such a cool atmosphere.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I live in downtown Tampa, and just everyone's around here and they're all hyped. And everywhere you walk right now, you'll see something to do with Gasparilla or the Stadium Series or both. And yeah, everyone's hyped, man. Even people who don't love hockey are hyped. It's going to be such a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, and you know what? I talked when I did my outdoor game rankings a little bit earlier this week. Two of the ones that I called out were the Buffalo Penguins game and the Red Wings Toronto game, because it just had the feel of an outdoor game. There was snow, there was ice, it was a little bit cold. Well, who would have thought, Greg, in the middle of Tampa, Florida, there is some snow possible in the forecast for the outdoor game, again, in Tampa, Florida. Who would have thought? Like, we can have a full winter outdoor atmosphere here in this game.
I did see that, but I don't know, man. It's so warm here, though, at the same time. I just don't think it's going to happen. But maybe. That'd be really fun.
Yeah. You're the Florida expert. You got to tell me if you think it's possible.
I don't think so. Realistically, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it'll be pretty windy, but I don't think – I mean, the low is 29 that day and the high is 46, so I would expect it to sit somewhere around, 40.
Don't crush my dream, man. Just let me see a snowy outdoor game in Tampa.
It would be really fun. I wish, trust me. I miss the snow. I'm a Jersey boy.
Yeah, I just don't. I want something to have all the cranky fans from up north be like, "This is why the South shouldn't host outdoor games."
Yeah.
Just want something to rub it in their face. Give me some snow. That's all I'm asking. Greg, as we mentioned a lot this week, this is going to be a big game for the Tampa Bay Lightning, not just because they're hosting an outdoor game, but because they're facing the Boston Bruins, a team in their division that's been red hot lately. So how do the Bolts escape with 2 points against the Bruins in the outdoor game? We'll dive into that when we come back on Locked On Lightning. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo. It's a new year, so your business deserves some new systems. It is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think, there's got to be a better way. And there is. Did you know streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make to your business? That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo. It's the smarter way to run your business communications, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating all in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with your customers. Quo makes it easy to stay connected. Your whole team can call and text customers from one shared business number, so nothing ever falls through the cracks. Everyone also sees the full conversation thread, no matter who responded first, which makes replies faster and more personal. It also works right from your phone and computer. You can keep your existing numbers, so no need for new phones, laptops, or equipment. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity or no customer slip away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. Again, quo.com/lockedonnhl. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Welcome back to Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, let's talk about the winter or the stadium series. There's too many stupid outdoor games in the NHL. Let's talk about the stadium series for the Tampa Bay Lightning, because this is going to be a monumental game. 2 points against the Boston Bruins are going to be huge. The Boston Bruins right now have the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. They're 8-1-1. They're starting to get red hot, and they are within striking distance, I will say, of the Tampa Bay Lightning's lead. They're just 5 points behind the Bolts at the top of the standings. That's how tight the Atlantic is right now. We talk about the Lightning just absolutely tearing up the NHL and going on an epic run. Well, look behind them. The Red Wings are only 2 points behind. The Sabres are only 5 points behind. Canadians are only 5 points behind. The Bruins are only 5 points behind. Greg, this division this year, this Atlantic division, is a wagon.
Yeah. Look, man. Lightning are tearing it up, like you said, but I'm still kind of sweating. All it takes is a tiny skid, and all of a sudden this division is back to being like within a game of each other. And it's a great season. Let's be real. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I think having the division be so close is just so fun and so good for the sport. Like having all these teams in contention the way it is, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Greg, we talked about that earlier this week. We talked about some of the elements. We talked about, the possibility that, ice could be bad. The players may take a second to adjust to communication. We've talked about that sort of being an X factor in this game.
Yeah.
Is there any other on ice X factor that you can think of that's going to play a big role in this one?
Do you mean specifically for the Stadium Series?
For the Stadium
environment?
Series. Not necessarily environment, but for this particular matchup against Boston.
Okay. Hockey specific.
Yeah, it can be
I'm going to say special teams. And I'm going to say that because the Bruins have a really good power play, dude. Yeah. Fourth in the league, 26.8% conversion. And we know the Lightning penalty kill is great, but I think you got to stay out of the box. I think it's just extremely important to stay out of the box in this game. And the Bruins penalty kill is not that great. 77%, 26th in the NHL. And if we can get a power play, and we know how good the Lightning power play is, I mean, it's 14th in the league, but it's been picking up steam lately. And I think you get that power play, I think there's a good chance you're converting on this against a poor penalty kill. So that's why I'm going to go with special teams. I think it's the most major key to this game.
I agree with that. I do think that's going to be a little bit of an X factor, especially if the Lightning can get some things going with the man advantage. I think that's going to be huge. Jeremy Swayman's been a little bit better this season. He's going to be a tough nut to crack. But to me, Greg, I think the X factor comes down between Nikita Kucherov and David Pastrnak.
Nice.
And it's going to be which one of the other defenses can slow down that big star. We know the Lightning have had a good history recently, especially that Yanni Gourde, Zemgus Girgensons, Pontus Holmberg combo of really going out there and making it hard for other teams' superstars to really find space. They're going to have to do that against Pasta because Pasta is, I think, one of the most underrated, overlooked players in the NHL. He's also been extremely hot lately. 9 points in his last 5 games. He's been on an absolute heater. He's starting to creep up in the NHL point standings a little bit. He's up to 69 this season. Mm-hmm. He's got some good players around him, like Morgan Geekie, who I kept calling Connor Geekie Morgan Geekie earlier this season. The other Geekie, I would love to have him on this team because 30 goals already this season. The Lightning the Bruins have found another big gun to work alongside Pasta. So the Lightning are going to have their work cut out for them, slowing down that combination. But you know what? The Bruins are also going to be tested too, because you see how hot Nikita Kucherov is and how his line's been working. You see how hot that first defensive pair has been with Darren Raddysh leading the helm. It really is going to be, I think, come down to which team can slow down the other team's big guns.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what? I'm going to add to that too. I think it's also going to come down to depth and the well-roundedness of each team's play, because look, the Bruins actually are getting contributions from a lot of guys this year. Just in their forward group, they have 9 guys who have 20 points. And not a lot of teams are that well-rounded. And I think the Bruins are probably shockingly so this season. I think they were kind of, in my eyes, we're kind of taking a downturn, and for them to be as good as they are and as well-rounded and getting contributions from this many guys, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And they've got some depth. It seems like they ride and die on their depth. And it's almost, kind of similar to Tampa. Like, look how many guys have stepped up for the Bolts this year. And you have guys like, Yanni Gourde having a big scoring season. You've had guys like, Zemgus Girgensons, who went from basically having zero offensive factor last year to being, 13 points this year, which is pretty much great for somebody who plays in his position. Somebody like Dominic James, who has contributed on the score sheet coming up. It's kind of the same thing where it's like they're getting success because they're able to have these guys step up.
Yep, completely agree with you. I think it's just like one of those things where some guys just come out of the woodwork, and that's happening for the Bruins. It really is. I mean, it's happening for the Lightning as well, but it's definitely happening for the Bruins this season. There are so many new names and new faces on this roster, and good for them. Realistically, like it is just impressive all around. But yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of this. I think kind of similar to what you said about this Jets game, that Yanni Gourde line. I think that's going to be a big part of this. I think they need to play their game. They need to forecheck hard, and they need to have another Yanni 3-point game.
Yeah, goaltending as well. Vazi's been hot.
That's true.
Jeremy Swayman's been hot. I think it could down to which goaltender makes more big saves in key times too. All right, Greg.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, wow, this is gonna be a great game. I really think so.
This is going to be an excellent game. All right. I'm not going to bore you with over under anything like that. Just give me a simple prediction. Who do you think wins this one, and what's the score?
I think the Lightning pull this out, and I think it will be I think it'll be a nail biter. I think it's going to be 4-3 Lightning.
Oh, I love the 4-3. Okay. I was going to say, I think it's also a nail biter. I think it's close. I do think you see the Lightning taking a second to adjust. So I think it may be a little bit of a sloppy first period. I'm going to go 5-3, and I'm going to go Lightning here. And I think they go down 2-0 in the first period. And I think the Bolts battle back and make this a game 5-3. And I think we have an empty netter at the end, maybe a couple empty netters at the end. So,
I mean, you've been spicy with the picks lately, so I kind of trust your judgment.
Yeah, I do. I think it might be a little bit of a slow start for Tampa as they work to get adjusted. But I think once they do, once they get acclimated to the ice, to the conditions, I think they're going to come out. And, John Cooper is the king of adjusting too. So I think they're going to find a way to sort of battle themselves back in it. So, yeah, 5-3 prediction for this one.
Okay, I love it.
All right, folks. Well, on Monday, we'll, of course, have all the highs and lows from the Stadium Series, not only the game itself, but just the presentation, the atmosphere, the fun, everything like that. We'll have it on Monday's show. We cannot wait to bring it to you. Also, be sure in the meantime to follow us on social media, Locked On Lightning, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you scroll for some exclusive clips from the show. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform. It keeps you guys in the loop when we have new content and helps us out with our numbers a little bit. And that's going to do it for us on today's Locked On Lightning. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Back Monday with a full recap of the Stadium Series. We will see you then.